Welcome back to the Humble Market Timer YouTube channel. Once again, if you enjoyed the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Today I want to do another video on a stock that I think could do 60 to 100% within days or weeks. And that particular stock is ticker symbol UMAC, Unusual Machines. It's another one of those stocks in the drone sector, which is a key sector. And I believe the setup is perfect for a very big move in the very near future. Before I go any further, here's my disclaimer. Once again, these are my sole ideas, not investment advice. Now, Unusual Machines, they build and sell drone parts. It's pretty much all they do. But being in that drone sector, particularly right now in the world, is really a sweet spot amongst stocks that are trading in the public markets. And I think it's just a matter of picking the companies that match the sector theme along with the technical setup. I did a video probably a couple months ago on ONDS Holdings. It's also a drone stock, and the ticker symbol ONDS, it was perfectly set up from a technical standpoint, and the stock virtually tripled within about a month after I did the video. This is another stock that I think also is set up to really have a big move. The drone theme is very, very popular right now. A lot of it had to do back in June when the government put out a press release and an executive order stating they wanted to unleash American drone dominance, basically making things easier for companies in that space to produce the drones needed that the government wants to have available just in case it needs to defend this country. And just recently, within the past 2 days, you can see in this article, the Pentagon asked a lot of the contractors for missiles and defense contractors to quadruple missile production, once again in preparation just in case there is some conflict between us and China. So defending the country and this drone sector is a very key sector right now, and stocks that are in this group are going to be the ones that are going to have the big moves, particularly as we head to the end of 2025. So going back to UMAC, and here's a picture of the chart of UMAC, a daily chart. As you can see, back in November of 2024, the stock made a huge pop, and a lot of that had to do with the announcement that Donald Trump Jr. was going to be a part of their advisory board. And this was shortly after Donald Trump Sr., his dad, was voted president. So the stock had a huge pop in November. It retraced quite a bit as the euphoria dropped down of that announcement, but it is now curled back and we're in that $15 range, and we are truly in a sweet spot now, as I said before, about drones and the country trying to do everything it can to make sure it has the weapons and assets needed to secure our country in case something happens. Now, looking at the chart from a technical standpoint, you can see I drew a line here that's a very distinct line on the chart where there is a neckline where It's the key area in UMAC where if the chart or if the price action breaks that line, that triggers the big move. And I've talked about this many times in my chart, in my previous posts, and my other videos, that when you have something that looks like a shoulder, and then you have a head, and then you have another shoulder, that is an inverse head and shoulder setup, which is a very bullish technical setup. Once you get that set up, all you need now is to break the neckline with confirmation. And that is the trigger for the next big surge in the price action in a particular ticker or stock. So right now we're right at the neckline. I believe what you will see is you will see maybe one of two or three things. I think we will either blow through the neckline and then make a sharp move higher in a short period of time, or we may consolidate along the neckline for a bit before we push higher, or we may have another pullback. October is famously known to be sort of a bad month in the stock market. There tends to be pullbacks in October in the overall stock market historically. So we may see a slight pullback if the overall market pulls back. But I think once that happens, we will have a strong finish in November and December, and we will quickly reattack this $15 level. And again, once you break and confirm, you can then you have multiple targets. Your first target will be recent highs back in 2024, which would be around that $23.60 range. Or you can do a measured move. Hold on. You can do a measured move from the neckline to the deepest part of the shoulder and mark that off from the neckline, and that is their breakout point. And once we break that neckline, you're then looking at about $26 to $27, and you could possibly round that up to maybe even $30 as that you have sort of a plus or minus on that in that breakout, in that measured move once you break that inverse head and shoulders. So the potential here is huge. There's only one negative that I have about the company. They tend to do capital raises kind of frequently, which is a bit annoying. But generally, when you have companies that have good setups like this, they typically let it run and let it hit its measured move before they do any capital raises again. So most companies try to be smart about that, and if they know they like to raise capital, they tend to let the move play out before they do so. So that's one thing you need to keep an eye on, but I think based on the space, based on the technical setup, this is another company very similar to what happened in ONDS that I think could make a very big move in a very short period of time. Hope you liked the video. Keep an eye on UMAC. If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.